All right, hey everybody, this is Jason down here at NanBop Farm. We are in our farm ops building today, and we are going to dive into the world of peppers today. I grew up in the West in California and Colorado, so I've got a lot of pepper experience. Peppers grow wonderfully out there, and you know, the cuisine highlights a lot of peppers out in West, so we have brought a lot of peppers to the farm here this year and have actually had really good success. A handful of varieties grew very, very well for us, so we're very excited about the opportunity moving forward here at NanBop to be able to start becoming a provider of high-quality hot peppers here in the northern Michigan area. And today what we're going to do is we're going to discuss a few different peppers, and we're going to talk about heat, we're going to talk about preparation, we're going to talk about peppers that change their names, which seems kind of funny, but they do. This first pepper here is going to be your poblano. Now, this poblano pepper is very popular in green chilies. It's very popular as a chili relleno chili. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a really quick way to go ahead and process one of these. Is I'll just cut that top right off. And you can see in that top, you've got a little bit of pith and you've got a little bit of seed. Those are the components that carry the most capsaicin, and capsaicin is that chemical constituent inside the pepper that makes it hot. So what you really want to do is learn how to handle your peppers. If you don't want the super hot effect of a pepper, there's some tricks you can do. So first thing you can do is you can cut it and you can soak it in water. I'll just cut it straight in half, and now you can really see the pith and the seed system. So here's a big chunk of seeds there. These seeds you can just wipe straight out. So if you want a little heat in your chili relleno, or you want to add the heat if you're making a green chili, for example, or a pork green chili, go ahead and leave the pith and leave the seeds in there and just chop it straight up and throw it right into your dish with the seeds and the pith, and you're going to get some of that heat. And then I'll come back through and I'll just cut them into small chunks. And this is a great size for a green chili or a pork green chili. The Anaheim pepper is another one of those peppers that has two different names. So this green one here would be referred to as an Anaheim. And this red one here, when it's dry, that's going to be a chili Colorado. Cut the top, cut the tail, cut it in half. And as you can see, you've got the top of your seed system there. And then you've got your pith that we've talked about and more seeds. So once again, the same thing we did last pepper. We'll just come down here and gently slice that, pull that out of there. Do the same thing on this side and get that little extra pith out of the way. Now we'll go ahead and cut open the red Anaheim, and same kind of thing. We'll just cut the top. Sometimes you don't have any seeds inside your peppers. Culinarily speaking, this is a bonus. If you don't want the heat from the seeds, you don't have any in them sometimes, which is really nice. Jalapenos, probably the most well-known pepper in the United States and most used pepper in the United States. It's hot, but it's not crippling hot. You're gonna get a nice good pop in your mouth off of it, but it's not gonna be quite as hot, for example, as the habanero. Personally, this is one of my 3 favorite peppers out there. And if you look, we've got one starting to change. So I really wanted to show you guys this one that's really started to dry out. At this point in time, I would refer to this dried jalapeno, even though it's not completely dry. This would be a chipotle pepper. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take our nice fresh jalapeno, we're gonna cut that top right off again. Top's gone, tail's gone. So we'll set that aside, and we'll make that same cut that we've been talking about. You've got a pretty full pepper of material that you want to get out, except if you want it hot. If you want them hot, leave this in, chop it up, and go along with it. Otherwise, same kind of technique. You got to be more careful though, because it's a smaller pepper. A little on each side. That large portion of pith and seeds pops right out. Same thing here. Pull that out. Get these last bit of seeds off. And that would be a jalapeno prepped and ready to go. Now, I'll cut open this chipotle pepper just to show you the difference between all the meaty flesh, if you will, of the jalapeno and where we are now. So you can see you really don't have much to look at because it's dried up so well. All right, and the next pepper on our list here is going to be the serrano pepper. And you can see I've got a green and a red here available for us. So we'll take this more plump red and this more plump green. And if you look, you can see this is starting to yield whereas this really doesn't yield. So nice and firm, starting to soften as it ages. And as it ripens, by the way, it does increase its sweetness a small amount. So that's a wonderful little trick. Again, we'll cut off the top, we'll cut off the tail, and then I'll come right in, cut it in half. So you can see that one, and you can actually see the seeds are starting to age and change a little bit. They get in a different color. And then here, we'll cut open the green one and show you the difference internally. So you can see the seed color is different. You've got seeds that are starting to dry up here. You've got fresh plump seeds here. One of the notorious hot peppers, and this is gonna be your habanero. This is actually my personal favorite pepper of all peppers on the planet. And the reason I like this pepper so much is it has a very fruity flavor to the meat of the pepper. Yes, it can be hot, but if you practice these things and remember to pull out your seeds and pull out your pith, when you prep this, you can really knock down that unbelievable heat of a habanero. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut this habanero in half. And you can see it's a very irregular shaped pepper. Now, what I try not to do with habanero is I try not to use my knife too much when I cut out the centers on the habanero, because the pepper itself, the meat is fairly delicate. You can see how thin that is, and just compare that to a jalapeno. You can really see the difference. I only make one cut across, and then I cut these into fairly long strips. If you're brave enough to take on the jalapeno and the serrano, go ahead and get yourself a habanero and give it a try and see what you think. It is gonna be a little hotter. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I hope you learned a couple of things about peppers. Remember, cut that pith, cut those seeds out. That'll reduce all that heat if possible. Wear gloves when you're cutting really hot peppers. I scratched my eye off camera and it is burning like the dickens right now. And that's because I had touched that habanero last and I just accidentally wiped it on my face. So be careful, but at the same time, have fun, enjoy it, experiment, pickle some jalapeno coins, make a guacamole with some serranos, you know, make a pork green chili, even if you've never made one before. Find a recipe online and just give it a shot and see what you come up with. You'll be pretty satisfied, I think, with the performance you get from peppers. They're a very versatile and wonderful plant, and I enjoy them, and I hope you guys get a chance to enjoy some too this year. And I look forward to getting you back here in our kitchen and showing you some other vegetables and things you can do with those as well. So thanks for watching.